Hi, this is Dizzy, and I want to talk about adult friendships when you're on the spectrum. Not necessarily friendships with other people on the spectrum, maybe, maybe not, but socializing as an adult. I started this channel when I was like 19 or 20, so I wasn't like full adult yet. I didn't know a lot of things, and I was also of this strange mindset that people could be entirely independent, even though we're social animals. Because you know how it is when you're real young, you know everything. Well, it turns out I knew nothing. I had bad gender dysphoria confusion issues as a young undiagnosed autistic child, and somewhat as a teenager. I'm growing a tree in my apartment. And so most of my friends were boys. Males have a less complex way of socializing than females do, and that has become extremely apparent to me as an adult who is actively trying to socialize more. Because in a lot of social situations when you're an adult, generally speaking, you can't be a woman in your 30s with just male friends and be a straight or bisexual or just married woman. You can't do that and expect them to not have ulterior motives. That's not how human nature works. Yes, it can happen where you have platonic male friends, but it's really not going to be, that's not going to be your tribe, as they're calling it. So you're kind of left trying to navigate female friendships. And that's not necessarily going awful for me. It's just taken some learning and unlearning of how to socialize, and also not trying as hard to seem normal, because it's not going to happen. And the harder I try, the creepier it just comes off. So it's just, don't do that. I have a lot easier time talking to people who are a good bit younger than me and a good bit older than me. Like, decade this way, a few decades that way, that type of thing. It's sometimes easier to just converse with children. Lots of autistic people are like that. It's easier to converse with children, but you can't really be friends with kids. Like, don't try to do that. That should be the name of my next book. Don't try to do that. But when I was younger, I thought, you could be almost live schizoid, and I don't mean that does not mean schizophrenic. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know that doesn't mean schizophrenic. Those are more like the people who want to live in a cabin in the woods and not talk to people. They just don't gain enjoyment from it. I thought that was a little bit more of a thing that people would be better off almost doing that. That is not so. And pretending that autism spectrum is not at all a disorder, I regret saying that, because now that I'm older, it's like, okay, this is a disorder, and the moment I have a gray hair or something, I'm gonna do something like this in public, and they're gonna have me in a home for dementia. You've been pronouncing it wrong. Dementia, okay? Because it's not cute, colorful TikTok stem dances, okay? It's trying to act normal in public and realizing you're doing that. That's what it is. Or taking something so literally that the people around you believe you to be quite slow, like much slower than you may be. And if you are slow, more power to you. But getting treated like you are, not fun. I've been more cautious more recently with who I surround myself with, so I'm not running into tons of trouble with people. I do, however, have a natural penchant for people to see me and go, oh, that's a naive, gullible person I can use or manipulate. And I mean, they do see me from a mile away. I've heard this from other people on the spectrum and people also with just ADHD. They can smell you coming. Doesn't matter how much native deodorant you put on or Axe body spray. They smell you coming. And they'll try to use little things about you to make you feel important to them so that you give them something. Sometimes it's validation, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's, maybe they want to ride somewhere. This isn't really coming up for me, but it has in the past. Or like, I want to bring you into this bad situation if it's more diabolical. So, friendships as an adult, when you're on the spectrum, they're pretty complicated. And we're wired to be social, so it's no wonder that a lot of people on the spectrum end up like severely depressed. Because we're wired to not socially function quite properly, and also wired to be a social creature, like the social creature. Those two things don't go together very well in a very comfortable manner. And I don't really think it's ableist to acknowledge that. Anyway, how have y'all found making friends, or even just people you can be friendly with, out in the real world as adults? Or if you're not an adult, then how is it for you? Just curious what y'all's thoughts are. And please be nice in the comments or I will cry for years and years and years.